Good morning. My name is Cordell Ratzliff. I'm Creative Director at Kapitall, and our goal is to make investing do the same thing for investing as Apple did for computing. We want to make it approachable and engaging. We've got a senior leadership team that has worked at such companies as Apple, Electronic Arts, Bloomberg, Morgan Stanley, and Viacom. And we launched Kapitall back in January. It's a web application. It's currently in a private beta. So outside of the people who are participating in the program, you're going to be some of the first people to see this in this type of forum. So I'm just going to give you a tour of Kapitall. And this is what Kapitall looks like. In fact, this is what my Kapitall looks like. Kapitall is very customizable. So for example, we have a stock ticker and a news ticker down here, and that can be customized for the stocks and the companies that you're interested in. Up here is my photo, which is how I'm represented on Kapitall. Here we have the current value of my portfolio. And then along the top here, we have access to various features and analytical tools, and I'll get to some of those a little bit later. What you're seeing here in the middle is what we call the playground. And some of the objects that you're seeing are really represent information about financial instruments. They could be companies, they could be portfolios, they could be mutual funds. And I can actually, the playground is really just a way to organize this information spatially. I happen to have a map of the world as my playground wallpaper, but I could take any of these objects and I could rearrange them. So for example, if I wanted to put all of my technology stocks together there, I can move them around. I can also move the playground around, so we just click and drag on it. Here, for example, we have a number of mutual funds. We also have an overview map of my entire playground, so you can see it here. It's quite large, actually. We can go over here. Over here, we've got the big three automakers in Siberia over there. So anyways, the playground is really a way for me to organize my financial information. So you might ask, how do we get these objects on the playground? Well, there's a couple of ways to do that. One is we have a search engine. I could go up here, but we also get this information from other Kapitall members. I have an inbox here, and I see that I actually have a new message waiting for me. The message is from Gaspar. Gaspar is one of the founders and the CEO of Kapitall, and he's telling me he just bought 10 shares of Coca-Cola. I should check it out. So I can take my Coca-Cola company and just drag it here on my playground, and I can look at various information about Coca-Cola. This is an aggregation of information about Coke. It's not just financial information. We have news and videos that we can play right here in the snapshot. We have a list of all of the products and brands that Coke produces. So we can look here. Minute Maid. How many people knew Minute Maid was made by Coca-Cola? That's news to me. We have various buzz indicators. We've got stock analysts' recommendations here. So all of these are aggregated information about Coca-Cola. Now, Gaspar just bought this company, and I want to see how does this really compare to some of its competitors. One powerful thing about Kapitall is the idea of lists. And I have some lists here. These lists are arranged. Some of them I've created, some of them Kapitall's created. Some of them are dynamic, like the winners and losers of the day. Down here, I've got a list that's showing all of the beverage companies. So let me drag that out. We open that up, and we can see other companies like Cadbury, Pepsi, and so forth. I'm going to take Coca-Cola. I'm going to add it to that list. And then I'm going to perform some analytics. I'm going to drag this list of companies up to a tool that we call the Comparamatic. And the Comparamatic basically lets you compare companies on different metrics. So in this case, by default, we're showing the monthly return of all the various companies. And I can actually go back in time. We can look at that monthly return at any point in time here. And I can also compare it on other types of criteria. So for example, if I wanted to look at both monthly return and quarterly sales, we can plot that on a scatter plot. I can have that. Let's say we wanted to compare to Coca-Cola. I'm going to set that as my reference point. So I may be looking at companies that are up and to the right, which would have high monthly sales, or high monthly return and high quarterly sales. And then we can also animate that. So I can see any companies that are up there in the right may be something I might be interested in, maybe a better investment than Coke. So, and I'm seeing one company there, which is Pepsi, that I am going to save for later. I'm just going to drop that in my cabinet over here. So now let me show you how we manage portfolios. I have a list of portfolios. I'm going to drag one of them out here, and we'll open that up. And within here, you can see the current value of my portfolio. You can see how it's done against the standard S&P 500. You can see a list of all of the stocks that I've got in my portfolio. It's broken down by sectors over here. And remember Pepsi. I'm going to actually purchase Pepsi because I think Pepsi is a better investment than Coca-Cola. So I can go back to my cabinet. We'll drag Pepsi out. Drop it into my portfolio, up pops a dialog, all the information pre-filled out. I'm going to buy 10 shares of Pepsi. And now that's been added to my portfolio down here. So that's a brief tour of Kapitall. As I mentioned, we're in private beta right now. We hope to go live publicly by the end of this summer. And if you would like to see us about participating in the beta program, please come see us afterwards or check out our website at www.kapitall.com. Thank you.